Jumbo. Thank you for joining me for Virtual Dose of Vitamin Z as we bring the Detroit Zoo to you. My name is David, and I'm an education specialist for the Detroit Zoological Society. Today, I am bringing a story about a very special bird that has a tradition in our lives. The bird right behind me, that is the white stork. And we have many different kind of storks, or a couple of them, but two most popular would be the red-billed stork and the yellow-billed stork. Now, so how many of you have heard of the story that babies come from the stork, which is very strange that the stork is able to bring babies. It's pretty nice story about how mom and dad first had you or your brother or your sister. And it's all thanks to this white stork. Yes, that bird delivers more babies than Santa delivers presents. With 7-foot-long wingspans, or wings, this bird could cross an ocean if it wanted to. Actually, they move from very cold climate to the warmer ones, and especially like from Europe into Africa. When I was young, we would see these birds coming in every year in the month of March when farmers were preparing their land, or they're tilling the land ready for planting. And they would follow these tractors as the real small creatures, crawling creatures like mice, snakes, locusts were flying. These birds would have a bounty on them. They would really go for them. They would gorge themselves. And so today, I am going to tell you a legend about the white stork. It's all probably be a bit familiar, but that doesn't mean it should not be repeated. So in one of the largest waterholes in Kenya, an old stork lived alone. It was a simple life, hunting by the banks of the water and wading out to cool off. He met plenty of different animals, zebras, wildebeest, rhinos, lions, you name it, he met them. Then approached a creature he didn't recognize. It crawled on all fours like a lion, but had hands like a chimp. This creature was furless and spoke in a language he did not recognize. The stork, ever curious, walked over to the strange beast. Hello, my friend. Are you new to this land? And they looked at each other. I do not recognize who you are. I don't recognize something as odd as you, the stork said. The creature looked up at him with its wide brown eyes, and the stork felt a memory come up. He had known of humans before. He knew that they were more dangerous than even the most powerful lion. This looked like a human, but not something much smaller. Where lions had cubs and rhinos had cubs, the stork assured this must be a child to a human being. The stork bent his head to look closer at the child. To better understand what it truly was, the child reached up and grabbed the stork's beak. In the way only a child would be allowed to. Now the stork laughed heartily. This child was truly fearless, much better than the humans he had usually encountered. Usually humans remained incurious, cautious. They stood behind bushes and trees, not trusting anything that wasn't them and didn't move. But this child, the stork liked this child. This was not the child's home though. With his fearless nature, the child could be snatched up by any number of predators at any time. A lion could make a meal of him. A crocodile could drag him under the water. The rhinos could trample him if they wanted. This was no place for this child. It was dangerous for the child to be there. So the stork had the idea to take the child back to its home among humans. And tell you what, the stork picked up that child and placed him on his back. And with one mighty flap of his wings, the stork took to the sky, and he was gone. The stork flew high as he searched for the child's home. Humans lived away from the forest in buildings and houses, away from the serenity of nature and into the chaos of cities and villages. It was their life. They could choose it however they wanted to, but the stork could rather stay in the watering hole. It was peaceful there. In the distance, as the sun dipped below the horizon, he saw the lights of a human village swooping low. The stork landed just outside of the houses. He sat on the ground, letting the child jump off his back. The stork nudged the child a little bit. Come on, child. He nudged the child forward towards the village. Keep moving. Now, the child, fearless as with boundless curiosity, crawled to the village. Adult humans gasped, "What?" as the child came forward from the edge of the forest, and the stork behind him, watching as dutifully as a parent would do. The child, this child, he was thinking, was looking behind. Who is? Try to figure out. Is it the stork? Is it the villagers? Is it the stork? Is it the villagers? The stork smiled, big smile, and flew off again as a pair of humans lifted the kid up. He had done his part. From then on, storks became a symbol of parenthood, and the idea that storks brought children began. The stork would never know that though. All he did was just help a nice kid. That's the end of my story. And back here at the Detroit Zoo. At the Detroit Zoo, we have storks, white storks. If you have been to where the flamingos are, there you are going to see the storks. We have 2 over there. And if you come to the Pampas, this is the area where we have the guanacos, or we have the pronghorns, or we have the pelicans and deer. There you will see another 2. And we have, so there you definitely stand a great chance of not missing to see a white stork. Check if there will be a baby that the stork will be carrying. I doubt. Thank you, folks, for listening to my story. This program was brought to you courtesy of Meijer. Thank you, Meijer, for enabling this virtual for us to bring the Detroit Zoo to the people and to you. Thank you, and look for more as we for more stories like this as we continue to bring the Detroit Zoo to you. Kwaheri, goodbye.